Hello, this is Mad Cat, the angry egalitarian, and well, this is kind of an impromptu video because I just watched Liberal Lunacy's video on disability too white, and I actually was going to talk about my disability on June 5th. Now, for me, June 5th is what I call D-Day, even though technically June 6th is D-Day. And I mean that as no disrespect to the brave soldiers who died on D-Day. If I'm remembering what D-Day is, and I apologize if I'm messing it up, but for me, D-Day is Disability Day. On June 5th, 2012, I suffered a work-related injury that left me permanently disabled. And since then, I've had like a lot of bad experiences. So I kind of consider this show to be a preview of that show. But while I will address disability too white in that show, today I'm going to talk about disability too white specifically. Just in case anyone out there doesn't know what it is. I just found out about it and I did a little bit of research, so now I have a few articles up about it. Well, an article and some Twitter feed. So I'm going to go through this article real quickly, discuss a little bit of my reaction to it, and then let's look at some tweets. Alright, so let's go ahead and start off today. We have the whitewashing of disability, trolls disability too white, and the fight for proper representation by Kaya Brown. Now, as Kaya states, she's no stranger to hate on the internet. But let's go ahead and skip to the more poignant parts of this article. Started by Velissa Thompson, founder of Ramp Your Voice, disability rights consultant and advocate and blogger. The Disability Too White hashtag was created to outline and showcase racial disparities in disability representation and care. Oh, that just pisses me off right there. Let's continue before I really give a reaction to this. Now Kaya Brown decided to put out some tweets for this. You know what? One day I will make that movie. I will write that story or TV show. If I don't, who will? When the only disabled representation in doctors' offices is a white wheelchair user. There's a lot of different things about that. I mean, okay, it's white and it doesn't properly represent black people, but, it's also the representation that, as a disabled person, you have to be on a wheelchair. And despite my disability, which is post-concussion syndrome, it's a form of traumatic brain injury that I suffered, I'm not in a wheelchair. So one might conclude that, the only representation of disabled people are those in wheelchairs, so it doesn't properly represent those that are not in wheelchairs. If you want to look for controversy, you can find it anywhere. And that's what's going on here, is that people are looking for a problem. Now, why is this popping up now? Because of intersectional feminism. It has invaded those who are disabled. Well, let's go ahead and continue. When you grow up asking yourself why your black body wasn't even good enough to appear in those exploitive telethons. Really? You're wondering why your black people were not presented there? You really have to ask that question? It's because they were exploitive. They were trying to get white people to do it so they featured white children. Because more often than not, they were trying to get upper class white people to donate money. Because it tends to be that white people have a disposable income. And that's where the big money is at. Now, I'm not saying that they're not rich black people or black people with a disposable income. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that white people are more likely to donate larger sums of money if they have the extra money lying around. So that's why they exploited white children to do it. Moving on. When the only examples anyone could give you of disabled folks falling in love were white. No, I couldn't give you any examples of white people falling in love. I don't know of any two disabled people falling in love with each other. Sorry to sound crass, but I don't really care. I mean, people fall in love all the time. I don't care if people fall in love. And yeah, it's all well great, don't get me wrong, but it's not like I'm going out there just to find an example of disabled people falling in love. Why would I waste my time on that? I've got more important things to worry about than if two minority disabled people fell in love, or disabled people at all fell in love. Why would I fucking care? Why? When you wish you knew other black disabled folks growing up so you knew you weren't alone. Well, how is that a problem of white people? So you wanted more black disabled people so you knew someone growing up that was black and disabled? I mean, most children growing up didn't know other disabled children. They were usually alone. I mean, I knew someone, I don't know what he suffered from, but in like the 5th grade, he was like the only kid in a wheelchair in the entire school. And yes, he was white. Now, maybe there's some program that he was a part of that helped other disabled children, but in the entire school, he didn't really have anyone he could connect to on the fact that he was disabled. I have to wonder how my perception of myself would be different if I knew it was possible for me to be seen and happy too. Okay. Look, being disabled is a very, very tough thing to do. I'm a living example of that. You know, I battle depression all the time. You know, I've come close to committing suicide all the time. I wish that the world saw me and understood the struggles I've had and, you know, try to help me out a little bit. I'm not asking for anyone to feel sorry for me, but I guess in some ways I am, and I can't help that. I try not to, but I guess in some ways I am asking people to feel sorry for me. The thing of it is what I've learned is you've got to try to find happiness yourself. Now, it's hard. It's very, very hard. But you can't ask the media. You can't ask the world to make you happy. You've got to carve out happiness for yourself. And especially like me, being disabled and not getting the proper medical care that I need makes it very difficult to go out there and find happiness. This room that I'm in, this room right here that you see me in right now, this is pretty much my whole universe. That's it. This is it. I am in here. Like 99% of my life is in this room right now. Now, sometimes I try to go out and it is just too difficult for me, okay? Every once in a while, I might go out to brunch and interact with people, and that's still tough on me, but a little bit easier to deal with. And that's like really my only human interactions that I have. It is very isolating. It is very lonely. The only people I really have to talk to is online. And it helps. But I wish I had more face-to-face interaction with people. But nowhere in my entire life do I make an expectation that anyone needs to make me happy. I'm trying to get happiness for myself. I do these videos. You know, I hope one day that my career skyrockets and, you know, YouTube starts paying me money. But I also do these videos in hopes that, you know, people like the work that I do and want to leave me a tip and do my Patreon. You know, I do articles on my website hoping that, you know, I'll earn a little bit of money. I've started an editing business. You know, I'm trying to work to try to get myself out of this situation. You know, I wrote books for the same reason. because I want to make myself happy. Now, yes, I am asking for donations from people, but I feel the trade-off there is I'm not directly asking people for money. I have when I had my whole GoFundMe thing, and I did get some help there. And that was a nice reprieve. That was like the first time in 4 years that I had gotten any sort of help whatsoever. And moving here to Pennsylvania has given me a boost of, okay, I have a chance to do something. But I am not asking anyone to make me happy. I want to do as much of the work as I can. And if someone donates money to me, it's because I put the work in. Patreon is a tipping service. I'm already doing the work. Someone is saying, you know what? Here's $5, here's $10 for, going out there and trying. And even if it's for 1 month, that's $10 that I can apply some part of my life. So I apologize. I've gone on a rant here, and I don't want this video to be that long, but let's finish this article. I woke up this morning to over 85 Twitter notifications, most of them tweets and likes of solidarity, but an awful lot of them were full of racist, ableist, and misogynistic slurs. Yeah, I'm sure they were. I'm sure someone's like, hey, let's not divide a marginalized group such as disabled people along intersectionality. I'm sure you consider that to be racist, because anything that calls on you for being a horrible person, for trying to divide this marginalized group, to you will be racist. But I know that this new movement, which is just part of intersectionality feminism and social justice warriors, have called out liberal lunacy for being a racist. And she's fucking disabled. She's in a wheelchair. She can't walk. She's more recognized for her disability than I am. And I'm happy for her that she can get a message out there about the struggles that she has to deal with, and in some small way represents a lot of my viewpoints, because I've never liked the whole ableist controversy bullshit that social justice warriors have to protect disabled people. Hell, the whole reason I got into Gamergate was because of social justice warriors and what happened to Mercedes Carrera. I wanted nothing to do with Gamergate because of my disability. It prevents me from enjoying video games. And when she got denied the opportunity to do charity for disabled gamers, that's when I got into it. Let's continue. As I mentioned earlier, I'm no stranger to hate. The hate that I received usually comes in the form of anonymous messages in my Tumblr Ask box. They're usually one-off comments that I delete and move on from conversation. That someone who isn't even brave enough to show their face has no say in who I am or what I should or should do. Well, you know what? Guess what? I'm not afraid to show my face. See, here it is, my face. My glasses, my goatee, my fucked up teeth. I really need to shave, of course, and this looks really bad, but, some days I just don't have the energy to even shave. But no, here's my face. Look at my glorious face. I'm not afraid to show you my fucking face to address you. Twitter, however, puts names and faces to these people. These names and faces don't change how I feel about myself. Well, that's good. That's good that you're not affected by people's names and faces. And I'm not affected by your name or face. I mean, I haven't seen what you look like, and I really don't give a shit, but I assume that you're black because you're trying to say that black disabled lives matter. Here's a hint. All lives matter, and all disabled people matter. I'm far beyond that point in my life. What the comments and hate do is highlight the fact that these comments, anonymous or not, are real people, and they help structure and uplift a society built on racism and inequality. No, they don't. They disagree with you, which they have the right to do. And you say that that's racist because they're not immediately sucking your dick. That's exactly what the issue is here. Anyone who disagrees with you, who even tries to challenge you, you immediately call racist and you put them on the ignore list. You say, and yeah, I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but you say that this is to create conversation, and yet when people give you an opposing viewpoint, you say that they're racist, misogynistic, and ableist. Fuck you. Fuck you. They bask in their privilege and demand that nothing changes. I am not fucking privileged at all. I'm not. You know, people will say, well, it's because you're white, so you have so much privilege. Check my privilege video. I have very little privilege in this world, even by feminist standards. I have very little privilege in this world. I have lost everything. And I try very hard not to make myself a victim in all of this. I try to be as progressive as I can in my life and in my development. I bet you've been to a doctor's office. I bet you have doctors helping you. I haven't. I've been to so many doctors, and so many of them just don't want to help me at all. They want to pick the simplest problem they can, pick the simplest solution, give me that, and it ends up making me worse. So don't tell me for 1 minute that I have fucking privilege because I'm white. If there's one thing that I have in this world, it's not privilege. The one thing I have in this world is a fucking disability. A disability that I can't get anyone to give a shit about. So don't go into me about my privilege. People of color and other marginalized voices want and deserve that change. Tell me what challenges black disabled people face. What challenges do Asian disabled people face that's different than white people? You tell me that. Because so far you haven't demonstrated that to me. Oh no, you weren't properly represented in a exploitive telethon. Oh, there was a movie and there was some white kid in a wheelchair. That must have been hard for you. You know what? Let me tell you something. Very few people know what post-concussion syndrome is. Most of the doctors I've seen don't know what it is. I've actually known more about my condition than they did. And they're supposed to be a professional. They're supposed to be a specialist. I went to neurologists themselves, and they just gave me the runaround. And the only time that post-concussion syndrome is mentioned in the media is related to the NFL. And I'm showing a picture of the film Concussion that starred Will Smith, that came out on, I believe, Christmas. Yeah, it came out Christmas. That dealt with traumatic brain injury, post-concussion syndrome, and another of other issues related to having a concussion. Repeated blows to the head. That's the only representation I get in media related to my condition. So unless I was some football athlete, and even then, that barely got recognized. This film takes place in 2002. And I'm still dealing with no one taking my condition seriously. Okay, she goes on talking about the huge problem and how this proves her point because people disagree with her. There's no way we can move forward and do better as a society if we don't confront and change our ideas about disability and the role that people of color play in our society in general. You know, I do think that racism still exists in this world. Hell, I think there's racism that exists in the United States, but I think that that is the exception, not the rule. I think that racism exists in a minority in this country. And the only reason why these people are saying, well, you know, this is racist and that is racist, and I'm still very marginalized, is because they want to be. Because it sells more tickets to whatever bullshit they're presenting. That's all it is. They want to be marginalized. You know, I have black friends, and they tell me that they're not marginalized at all. There are plenty of people on YouTube who say that they're not marginalized in the least, despite all of the disadvantages they had growing up. If we spend the rest of our lives believing that whiteness is the default in every single category, we'll end up creating a world where bigotry and racism alike will grow and prosper. There are a couple of good points that I want to draw out here. Number 2, I get what you're saying, but the whole intersectionality just leads to a divide in an already marginalized group without any answers to their grievances. Exactly. Dividing disabled people amongst race, and pretty soon gender. Pretty soon it's going to be black women, black disabled women that don't get proper representation. So that's a very good point. I can understand why someone would interpret disability too white as diminishing. Having a minority status that you would have even if you're able-bodied probably does not make it worse to a degree, but disabled is disabled. Once you are in that category, you are just not seen. Able-bodied people cannot fully appreciate just how much that matters. And that is the truth. That is like the absolute truth here. Whatever problems you have as, a minority in the United States kind of is taken away when you become disabled. Because disabled people are generally overlooked. People turn their heads away. That's happened to me. Now, I don't hate all of humanity for that. I don't hate white people for that. Some people are raising awareness. I would say that liberal lunacy would be one of them. So let's look at some tweets. So we'll start with Cody Kleppinger. Our community is diverse and we need to acknowledge that. Our media needs to reflect that. Intersectionality, disabled to white. You know what? I might even understand it from that point of view why you're doing this. But you're dividing an already marginalized group even further, and what you end up going to do is paying attention to one part of the community, whereas everyone in the community needs help. All of those that are disabled, not just me, but so many others need help out there. And now you're just dividing it and saying that, oh, well, white people are the only one represented. Let's start ignoring white people and instead focus on minorities. So now, because now I'm pretty much ignored by society, but now I need to feel guilty because I'm white despite receiving no privileges whatsoever. That's what you're saying. Sick boy, do your part for disability too white. Cripple a minority today. Bad joke, but freedom of speech, so I'm not condoning that at all. Shannon, because disability too white totally isn't racist against white people. Oh no, because it can't be racist against white people, and you can't be racist ableist to white disabled people, and you can't be racist, ableist, sexist to white disabled men like me. No. And of course, I guess the Daily Dot did an article trying to shame Shannon for asking questions. Starting conversation, which is what these people want. They don't want a conversation. They just want people to just automatically agree with them and give them whatever they want. A conversation includes dissenting opinions. Or even just questions from white people. Shannon's a white chick. A beautiful white chick, but a white chick nonetheless. Good friend Sierra McCord. Disability too white just proves that no matter what, social justice warriors will always find inconsequential trait to shame you over. Yeah, pretty much. Detransitioner. Disability too white proves racism is alive and well. But now it's cool and accepted for racists to hate whites because of their skin color. Nero, it's retarded. Thank you, Nero. Godfrey Elfwick. Disability too white, because being a person of color within a white supremacist society is a disability. I wouldn't be surprised if Black Lives Matters tries to make this argument. Just watch, they're going to. They're going to say it's a disability and try to support the black disabled women and take away from white or men that are disabled. That ain't no fact. Good morning, world. How can we hate white people today? I know. Let's turn disability into a race issue. Angela Knight, I thank you for this tweet. It's hard enough for disabled people to get diagnostic, medical, and social support without introducing other hostilities. Disabled to white. Valissa Thompson, some of the things that she stated. I need to see black, brown, yellow, and red disabled faces to feel validated. To feel violated. She needs to feel validated in her disability by seeing black, brown, yellow, and red. I'm sorry, but I don't feel validated in my disability by seeing white people or black people that are disabled or women that are disabled. I get comfort when I meet those that are disabled, not even necessarily like me. My writing partner for my editing business has MS. There are similarities between us, but there's also vast differences between us, and we are able to support each other through the challenges that we face every day. In fact, we kind of have our own little community that's just the two of us where we can rely on each other. But I don't need her being white to give me validation from my disability. I don't need validation from anyone. Well, let's look at the person who started all of this. And I'm amazed that I'm not blocked yet. Although I haven't really said a whole lot about this yet, but, whatever. Oh, look, she's in a wheelchair. Should I make the argument that only people in wheelchair get attention for being disabled and people who are not in wheelchairs aren't? I mean, that's about as poignant as her saying that, people of color not getting representation in a group that's already marginalized and not seen in society. Yes, exactly how I felt when the hashtag I created went viral. Mute and blocked features, and I became instant BFFs. Yes, because the best way of creating a conversation is silencing those who don't agree with you. The best way to create a conversation is only keeping people around that agree with you. Congratulations on creating a conversation. Oh wait, no, you haven't created a conversation. You've created an echo chamber. Congratulations on that. You must be so proud of you. Oh my God, they showed a white man getting an exam. That has to be racist. Because it's not a black person there, it's a white person there. So modern medicine is discriminatory. Even though many of the doctors I have seen have been minority doctors. But no, that's racist that they would... I saw a minority doctor who is from India. Oh, no, that's just racist that I went to a doctor like that. Because modern medicine is racist. And using modern medicine in any way makes you a racist. Valissa Thompson, sorry for mispronouncing your name there, started a long overdue conversation about race and disability representation. Disability too white. Join the convo. That's what I'm fucking doing. I'm joining the conversation. Who wants to have a conversation with me about disability? Come on, I fucking dare ya. Come on. Hey, I know. Let's go on Steven Crowder, you and me, and we can go ahead and discuss this. Or we can do our own private little showing, and you can tell me what a misogynistic racist I am. for challenging the idea that as a white man I have no privilege. Go ahead. I welcome you. I invite you to come in. Oh, epic leaders, how about it's you? Valissa Thompson, let's go ahead and do that. Oh, go Valissa Thompson. Fellow white people, stop, listen, and don't try to make this about yourself. She made it about me. When she started to attack disabled white people, guess what? I'm a disabled white person. Trying to say that I somehow have more privilege than she does. I have no fucking privilege. And even attacking my friend Liberal Lunacy for even asking questions. She is a white disabled woman. So yeah, Valissa Thompson and this whole disability to white hashtag community made this personal. Here's the last tweet that I'll read, and I think this speaks volumes about all of this. I want to thank my fellow black disabled female advocates for checking in on me throughout the day. True sisterhood, disability to white. So this isn't just about racism to you. This is also black disabled female advocates. True sisterhood. This is just a way to bring intersectional feminism into the disabled community, to create a further divide. I'm sorry, but I have no respect for anyone who wants to exploit disabled people, and specifically black disabled people, to further a cause for you. I hate the fact that as a disabled man, not that many people care. You know, I tried to do a Kickstarter because of my disability. I made very little money. I tried doing a pub slush. I made a little bit more money, but nowhere near what I needed to. You know, someone raised $50,000 for potato salad. Anita Sarkeesian first raised $160,000 for a series that she never completed and turned around a few years later and got $200,000. Can you imagine if I even got 10% of that? If people took some of their money and just donated it to me, I could actually get a treatment that could actually help me. That could actually get me out of this room more often. Maybe even get a job, because the procedure I need is not covered by insurance. I'd have to pay for it out of pocket. You know, and I can't really get people to feel sorry for me because my disability is not a physical affliction. You can't just look at me and know that I'm disabled. It is a mental disability. I can't be in public for very long. I have to wear these dorky glasses when it's too bright outside just to be able to function. I've actually started wearing these out now because it just gets too bright sometimes. I have difficulty being in large crowds of people. My brain wants to shut down being in public for 30 minutes. So yeah, I know what it's like to be marginalized. I know what it's like for the world to just ignore me and pretend that I don't exist because it makes it easier. And most disabled people face this kind of problem. What you're doing is destructive. You're destroying that fabric. You're destroying already marginalized group by trying to insert intersectional feminism into it. And saying that because of your race and your gender, you're saying that people should pay more attention to you than me. When in truth, people should be paying attention to both of us. We're both disabled. We're both marginalized in that way. So for this community, you know what? If you want to come on my channel, come on my channel. If you want me to come on your channel, I will. Go ahead and attack me. I don't care. But I am disabled. I am white. I'm not ashamed by that. I'm not going to apologize for that. And if anything, Valissa, you need to apologize for this farce, for trying to divide the lines of an already marginalized group. Sorry for this long video. I plan to be doing another video on June 5th. relating to my disability and talking a little bit more about the struggles I've gone through. It's an anniversary of my injury, so I hope to see you all there. And this is Mad Cat signing off.